Good morning. Welcome, everybody. We are Tbcas, Truck versus Bridge Collision Avoidance System. This is Yoshi, Mina, and Julita. Our team recognizes that there is a problem with bridges and overhead heights that create an issue with truck drivers, with trailer trucks, 18-wheelers, as they're driving along their routes. Collisions do happen every year, and our job was to find a way to prevent that, or at least to help prevent that. Our solution is to implement an integrated system that will automatically crowdsource bridges and other height issues that might occur along the way. So, our project will be using a distance sensor, a Raspberry Pi 3. It will also be using an Android app developed through Android Studios, and then we will be using a database as well. The distance sensor will be mounted on top of the trailer truck, pointed directly upwards so that it can measure distance as the vehicle is driving, which will be sent to the Raspberry Pi in order to do the calculations to find out exactly how high that bridge is, which will then be sent via Bluetooth to the user's phone and be calculated on the app there. This app will be able to send the data. The app will be able to associate the GPS location with the GPS on the phone to said height, which will then send it to the database. This data we want to be able to have available to the users so that the user will be warned of upcoming obstacles in the future. The way this will happen is that the app will query the database that we have set up. It will have a 2-mile radius of distances that it receives, and then with the route on the phone, it will be able to cross-reference that to find out if there's any exits that need to be made before you get to the issue where you can't get off the highway. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Do you guys have any questions for us?
So how do you alert? You just answered. I was gonna ask what's the mileage rate? You said two miles.
Right. We want to.
How are you gonna alert me? You're gonna beep or something?
Right. So you'll have an Android app, and when you get that 2-mile radius, you'll have the route on your phone as well, incorporated with like Google Maps or Waze, however we want to set that up. It will cross-reference that. If there is that there, you will get beeps, warnings. There's going to be something loud to make sure that you know before you get to the last exit to get off.
Okay, one more question. Why Android only?
Julita?
Well, that's the software I know how to use right. So that's why.
Question. So many truckers drive different trucks depending on the day of the week. Somehow you have to know which truck they're in. So if I have a trailer, it's taller than if I don't have a trailer. So the way we treat that may be different. How are you going to handle that? And then the second question is, the first time that bridge is too low, I already lost. So what do I do?
Yeah, so our data, we essentially want to collect it before we give it to trailer trucks. So it would be regular cars with the mounted device on top, and over a course of a year, collect that data and then use it for a trailer truck company and then grow from there. And so for different truck heights, the application will actually ask for the user's email and password and enter a truck height. So they would have to enter that truck height, and each individual user information will be saved into the database, and that's how it's going to query if they can fit under a bridge or they need to exit.
So the sensor will collect the height of the bridge with respect to the height of the truck that is on the road.
And maybe to help answer your question as well, for that first year, we don't want to take it live. What we want to do is find a trucking company that we could sponsor, they would sponsor us, however which way you want to look at it, but just outfit their trucks so that we have verified trucks that we know the height so we don't have bad data. And then for over a year, these trucks use routes that all these trucking companies use. That way we have valuable data to use once we go live to make people actually want to buy the system.
How you can. So basically, the database requires a survey. Right? How are you guys going to identify which routes to follow first?
Which
so
routes?
I guess the route is not necessarily important. It's that the coordinates. So the GPS is going to get coordinates for that bridge or that height hazard and save it into the database. So the route is not really our concern right now. Is where that bridge is. So it's going to send a longitude, latitude to the database, and that's going to be stored. And so that's going to be brought up whenever a truck is like heading towards that coordinate.
We're gonna use existing GPS, so
Yeah.
you use Google Maps or Waze, and you have your route set through there, and then we're gonna
you're going to
incorporate
find
that to
intersections,
cross-reference
right?
with the GPS location of said bridge.
Yes, sir.
Could you use digital terrain models?
I'm sorry?
Digital terrain models?
That may be something that we could look into. It's not something that we've thought about yet.
Because when you go and work on your proposal for the sponsorship, you want to have a plan where you want them to spend their money on.
Correct.
Nobody will just sponsor you for a blind survey.
Activity
Correct.
completed.
You should probably look at Waze. You mentioned Waze and Google Maps.
Right.
Google, they both are the same. Waze does provide access to APIs.
Okay.
So you can talk to them, and if you're providing value, they will let you do that. There's another very good organization here in Texas called the North Central Texas Council of Governments. You can come back to me, I'll tell you. NCT-COG, and it's a government organization of all the different agencies. They work with NTTA and others. And you can work with them as well, because you are providing a service to the community. So you should be able to collect that data and you give that back. But of course, you can make it monetize it in some other way using Waze to that. But that Waze and NTT-COG are a great resource for you to kind of include.
NTT copy. Thank you.
All right, thank you.